purpose of this video is to demonstrate the new options that allow users to automatically monitor newly discovered devices and automatically update existing devices from WhatsUp Gold 23.1. From WhatsUp Gold 23.1, it is now possible to configure devices through roles to be automatically monitored after being discovered. For example, if you have scheduled discoveries running against your wireless environment, you can now automatically monitor any new wireless LAN controllers or access points that come online. From the Roles and Subroles library, you can edit any existing role or subrole, or create new ones, and you will see these options on the bottom right-hand side. Before going into these options, it is important to understand that these options ultimately decide whether devices are kept or deleted, or shown or hidden within the discovered or monitored networks. They have no bearing on the role that gets assigned to a device. As seen here, there are two menus to select from under the automatic monitoring settings: Discovery Options and Monitoring Options. The first option under Discovery Options is Default Behavior. This is the default option, and if selected, Discovery runs as normal, making its regular decisions without user intervention. Nothing different will happen from a regular Discovery scan in previous versions. The second option, Always Show Devices. If selected, devices discovered with this role will always be shown in the discovered network, and if there are devices with this role that were previously hidden, they will now be shown. The third option, Always Hide Devices. If selected, devices discovered with this role will always be hidden in the discovered network, or if there are existing devices with this role in the discovered network, they will now be hidden, meaning they will not be displayed in the discovered network device list. This list can always be accessed from the Hidden Devices menu option in the discovered network. The fourth option, Delete Devices. If selected, any unmonitored devices with this role will be deleted from the discovered network. And the fifth option, Delete Devices and Add to Global Exclusion. If selected, unmonitored devices with this role will be deleted from the discovered network, and they will be added to the global exclusion list, meaning that if attempted to be discovered again, the device will not be considered to be added to the discovered network if the IP is in the global exclusion list that is selected under the limit options as part of the discovery scan. Remember, the global exclusion list can be accessed and maintained from Settings, Discovery Settings, and Global Discovery IP exclusions. Moving on to the options under Monitor Options. The first option is Do Not Auto-Monitor Devices. If selected, this option will have no effect, meaning devices with this role will not be auto-monitored. The second option, Auto-Monitor New Devices. If selected, newly discovered devices and existing unmonitored devices with this role will be automatically monitored, so that they will be available in the monitored network and consume a license point. The third option, Auto-Update Existing Monitored Devices. If selected, existing monitor devices will be automatically updated in the monitored network. And the final option, Auto Monitor, Auto Update Devices. If selected, this role will enable newly discovered unmonitored devices to be automatically monitored and request existing monitor devices to be updated. Now that the rules have been set, they can be utilized from a new discovery scan under Options. The first option, Enable Discovery Options. This option will enable the options previously set under the Discovered Device options for the selected role. The Discovered Device options will not get enabled without this option selected during the discovery scan. The second option, Enable Monitoring Options, Auto Monitor New Devices. If selected, along with the monitoring options on the role that allow new devices to be auto-monitored, any newly discovered devices or any existing unmonitored devices with this role will be auto-monitored. You can also specify a group to put these devices into. And it's also worth noting that if that group ever gets deleted, it will default back to the My Network group. It's also important to remember that already monitored devices will not move groups. And the third option, Enable Monitor Device Options. Existing monitor devices will be auto-updated. If the option to auto-update existing monitor devices was enabled on the role, This option will automatically update any existing monitor devices with this role. To show some real-world examples of this functionality, we will demonstrate the automatic monitoring of a virtual environment. First, we will enable Always Show Devices under the Discovery options and Auto Monitor and Auto Update Devices for the automatic monitoring settings for the 5 virtual subroles. Next, we will start a new scan and enter the IP address of the vCenter. We will then expand on Virtual and select our credentials. Under the options, we will select all 3 options for automatic monitoring settings and select a group for the devices. The expectation is that all discovered virtual machines are visible in the discovered network and also added to the specified group in the monitored network upon completion of the scan. Because this will be the first time discovering this virtual environment, there will be nothing to auto-update. But we could schedule this scan to run every week, for example, and if there is an update to one of the VMs, it will then be reflected in the monitored network. As the discovery process runs, we can see the devices getting added into the discovered network. As this process completes, we can see the start update monitoring process begin to take place. And once complete, the devices are now in the monitored network in the expected group. It is also worth looking at the scan results to see the status of the discovered devices. If license limits were exceeded, then some VMs might not get automatically added, as seen in this example. A more complex example might be if a user wants to apply options to multiple types of devices that use the same primary role. It is important to remember the primary roles are evaluated first, so if default behavior is configured on the discovered options, the subrole is looked at next. Subroles are evaluated in order of weight, which means that an applicable subrole with the highest weight will be applied to the device. If all applicable subroles are also set to default behavior, then discovery will run through its regular process. But it is possible to do something like the following. If the Cisco Meraki primary role discovery options are set to always hide devices, but the WLC subrole discovery options are set to always show devices, with this type of configuration, all WLCs that are not Cisco Meraki will be shown in the discovered network, and the Cisco Merakis will be hidden. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this training.